Sinai Cemetery on Bridge Street. I'm only a half a mile from Bridge and Pratt to Frankfurt Terminal. Benjamin Franklin has had a quote that said something along the lines of this: I can judge your city by the people in its cemeteries. So join me as we go for a tour of Mount Sinai Cemetery in Wissinoming. This is the final resting place of Harry Publicker, a Ukrainian immigrant who started selling alcohol in 1913. He opened a plant near the Delaware River. His company gained success by selling alcohol to the government during World War I. He stayed open during Prohibition by selling industrial use alcohol. He passed away in 1951, leaving a lucky someone $125 million in his will. Mount Sinai was founded in 1854 and is one of the oldest Jewish cemeteries in Philadelphia that is still in active existence. The cemetery chapel was designed by architect Frank Furness. He was the architect of the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, the Girard Trust Company building, and the Gates House at the Philadelphia Zoo. This amazing building has been vacant for 25 years. This is the grave of Philip Loeb. He was an actor who was born in Philadelphia. He was the co-author of the Marx Brothers film Room Service. He also acted in that movie. In 1948, Loeb started performing as the character Jake Goldberg. He played the character Jake on radio, on stage, and on television. The TV show was called The Goldbergs. In 1950, Mr. Loeb was taken off the show The Goldbergs because he was blacklisted from Hollywood and accused of being a communist. He battled depression for 5 years, and on September 1st, 1955, he committed suicide. On the next day, September 2nd, the FBI announced that Philip Loeb was not a communist. This is the Gimbal family plot.
It's Gimbals' one-day store-wide sale. Thursday for one day only at Gimbals.
Adam Gimbal opened his first store in Indiana in 1842. His sons, the Gimbal brothers, opened a department store in Philadelphia in 1894. Bernard Gimbal, the grandson of Adam, expanded Gimbals to New York City. Bernard also started the Thanksgiving Day parade that celebrated its 100th anniversary last year. And just so you know, the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day parade was first, not that other one in New York. The Lit Brothers was a moderately priced department store based in Philadelphia. The stores were opened by Samuel and Jacob Litt in 1891. In 1961, the Litt Brothers department store added the enchanted colonial village, which you can now find at the American Treasure Tour Museum in Oaks, PA. Also buried in the Litt family plot is Jules Mastbaum. Mr. Mastbaum was a big-time movie theater owner and an avid art collector. When he passed away, he gave the city of Philadelphia the Rodin Museum. And I guess that's why the city of Philadelphia named his school after him on Frankfurt Ave. His wife is Etta Mastbaum. Her mother was the Litt brothers' sister. And our final stop on Department Store Drive is going to be Snellingberg's. Snellingberg's was a middle-class department store and a clothing manufacturer. Their slogan was a thrifty store for thrifty people. Their gimmick was, since they made the clothes, they could sell the clothes cheaper. Nathan Snellingberg was the department store's founder. This is the plot for Samuel Paley. He owned a cigar company in Chicago. His son, William, would help produce radio commercials, and in 1928, William and several other partners, including his father Samuel, became partners in Columbia Phonograph Broadcasting System. A few years later, that became known as CBS Television. Also, Samuel Paley had a library named in his honor at Temple University. Samuel's grandson has kept the family tradition going and is now a cigar salesman. Well, he owns a cigar company. This is the grave of Frank Binswanger. In 1933, Prohibition was over, and the governor of Pennsylvania wanted to make sure the state controlled the liquor sales. Frank suggested that the state would take over the abandoned banks that were shut down because of the Depression. The state could really control the liquor by making sure it was locked up in all the banks' vaults, and these banks became known as state stores. In 1945, Frank started a new holiday tradition. Instead of your standard holiday card, you would get a family picture of Frank and his family. Yeah, he's the first one to do that. There had to be someone, and Frank's the guy. I told you, it's a really interesting cemetery. Think about the holiday traditions that were started by the guys in the cemetery. The Gimbal family gave us the Thanksgiving Day parade. The Litt brothers gave us the enchanted colonial village. And because of Frank Binswanger, we got to take a goofy Christmas card. And Mr. Publicker, he would get us drunk on New Year's Eve. All the holiday traditions. Well, that's it. That's my day at Mount Sinai Cemetery. Hey, if you like this video, do me a favor. Smash that like button. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe. Why not? I'm going to be doing a lot of cemeteries in the month of October. Don't forget to check out my merch. My merch is fire. And if you want to sign up for my Patreon, there's a link below in every video. Well, make sure you hit like and subscribe. And I'll sail with you later. Doodles!